Well, hello everybody. This is Margie here again from Nature Health. And I'm really thrilled. I have a beautiful guest with me today from all the way from Scotland. So as you know, my mission is to help people take charge of their health naturally. And I'm going to be covering all walks of life to give you tools for your toolbox at home. So you don't have to resort to pharmaceutical medication, which is very quick and easy, but we've got other tools for you today. So my beautiful guest today is Jenny Light. And there's so many ways I could describe her, but the one thing is awakened yogi. So what Jenny is a spiritual healer. So I'm going to ask Jenny if she will share with us how she entered this journey of life. Welcome, Jenny.
Oh, well, I'm delighted to be here, Margie. Thank you very much for inviting me. Yes, in this life, I think it's been, for me, it's been an amazing experience, because even as a child, I knew that I wasn't this body, that I wasn't this name that I have for this lifetime. I wasn't that. I was, I had this experience of being at one and the same time as large and filled with light as the room or beyond, and at the same time as small as a tiny seed. And I knew I wasn't the body. I filled the room with light. And those recurring experiences would happen as a child. I mean, age 5, 6 and onwards. And then they sort of receded a bit, and they came back again when I was in my 20s, early 20s. But those awakened experiences, Kundalini awakening, a great power running through my system, I think that I'm just taking off in this lifetime where I was in previous lifetimes. I had lots of visions of myself sitting in a tropical hill, looking out over a valley and meditating under a tree. And I knew it was India. But even as a child, I knew that this life was really short, and there was a lot to do in this life. There was a lot that I had to learn and share. And that's not to say that things are easy, because they're never. The spiritual growth always presents you with things that are a challenge to you as a person, as you as a soul. And for me, as a child, that was asthma. I was in my bed for about half of my time. I was spent, and I was off school a lot, just struggling for that breath, struggling for my next breath. And it keeps you very much in the moment. And I knew, even as it was a difficult experience, I knew even as a child that it was important for some reason. And I overcame asthma. When I was a later teenager, I overcame all of that. But then, as you know, Margie, I got chronic fatigue syndrome. I got that as in my early 40s. I got chronic fatigue syndrome. I pushed too hard, did too much, but my approach through life has always been to overcome. I believe that everything is presented to us. It's like it's there, sharp focus. There's no getting away from it. You can't run away from whatever is being presented. That it is something to grow from. So my first attitude is always, okay, this is interesting, right? So how can I grow from this? What am I meant to learn from this? And so even as a child, I knew that this life was short. There was a lot to be done. I felt as if that I had to pack in an awful lot in one lifetime, that I couldn't stand still. I was always having to do the next thing. And I was also have visions of myself, and I knew it was in my 50s, standing on a stage, talking to people about spirituality. And I had no idea as a child, as a teenager, what I would be speaking about. It's like, well, I can see myself there, but what am I going to be talking about? But you've got to go through experience before you've got something to offer to people. In actual fact, every experience, no matter how difficult, actually makes you stronger. It makes you more resilient. And it also, it helps you to overcome, and I'll use the word karma, it helps you to overcome some karmic aspects of that's appended to your soul that you're carrying from lifetime to lifetime. So each one's a clearing. If you face it and don't run away from it, running away from it never helps anything. We're all valiant warriors in life. You know, whether you choose to take up your sword and fight or not, you're all valiant warriors, and we're here fighting our own inner battle. So even as a child, I knew that there was something that I was destined to do here. And so, yeah.
So tell me, Jenny, in your doing and helping people evolve like you have, what kind of tools would you give to them?
Well, first of all, I teach people to be positive. It's to view any experience that is presented with a positive attitude. It's like something to be overcome. The second thing is I teach meditation. Yoga has been very much a part of my life since, when did my mother introduce me? When I was about 8. I think I got my first yoga book for my birthday when I was 9. And so teaching yoga and meditating has been something that has really helped me, because we are not this body, we're not the mind, we're not any of the circumstances that we're placed in this life. We're none of those. We are soul, we are spirit. And as Christ said, you know, go within to find that truth. You go within. So meditating is the method of which you retreat from the exterior world and move within. So I teach people how to meditate, because I think that is the number one tool that is going to change how they view this world, and also to get in touch with their real self, not their pseudo self, not the Freudian ego, but into their real soul self. And then they'll get all of the answers bubbling up from within.
So for anyone listening to you now, Linda, I'm Jenny, what if they've never meditated before?
Well, meditation in the very beginning is more probably using a guided meditation by a teacher who is highly experienced. So it's just learning to still the breath. And yoga here is giving us an easier route, if you like, because calming the mind is extremely difficult. And a lot of people think when they sit down to meditate that they can't, because the mind is so mercurial, it's all over the place. But yoga gives us actual techniques to calm that mind. So by that, I'm talking about perhaps a few minutes of physical movement, and then using a breath technique. The breath calms the brain, calms the mind, so that then you can maybe catch yourself with a window of 5 minutes in which to start to go within. And I try and make it doable for people at the beginning, because I know how difficult it is. And also being in in the company of someone who has a great experience of yoga. And here I would talk about that radiance, that resonance that comes off, a deep stillness that comes off someone who's highly experienced. Although I do know that on Zoom, a lot of my students say that it doesn't make any difference. They like perhaps to be in my company, but with social isolation that we've had, because of the pandemic, then Zoom has actually become a very important tool, and it means that you can connect with anybody. We do connect on spirit. We're not separate. There's only an appearance of separate. We're all one and the same great light, individualized into little sparks of consciousness. But meditation brings us all into oneness.
That's such a beautiful description. That is just so beautiful. And when you said about the radiance, you do radiate light. And if I close my eyes, your voice radiates that. So I think your students are extremely lucky, and I feel so privileged to be in your company today. Now, when we spoke earlier, you said that there were 2 little gifts you'd like to offer anybody who's on this call. Would you like to share that with them?
Well, I talked about the beginning of meditation, and I have on my website, that's living-lightly.co.uk, there is a 6-day, it's an intensive 6-day meditation course for beginners, and it's 30 minutes. So there's 10 minutes of movement. It's all very gentle stuff that anybody could do. In fact, you could do it sitting in a chair. You don't have to be mobile, but it's just to try and remove the static from the body, because the body then, if it's too restless, it won't sit. So remove the static from the body, and then 10 minutes of breathing in which to bring the prana rate, the life force rate up in the body, and then 10 minutes of guided meditation. So those links are all on my website. So it's a link from there to YouTube. So that 6-day course is available. It's free to anybody. And also, if anybody was interested, I do sound healing. I think sound is the building block of the universe. In the beginning, we had sound. In the beginning was the word. It tells us in Genesis chapter 1, the word, it's sound, it's vibration, and from that vibration, everything spewed forth. Well, using sound can cut right through a whole load of trauma. It can cut through karmic issues. It can cut through health issues. And I do sound healing with tuning forks. I've got a whole plethora of tuning forks based on sound. These are the 2. There's very few of them are audible. They're more vibration. These 2 are audible. So I'll just stop them because they do resonate for quite a while. The sound can be used distantly to do healing. So I'm offering half-price healings for anybody that watches, could say to me they've watched Nature Health.
Isn't that awesome? Jenny, that is so generous. Thank you. Now, may I ask you, when you say sound healing, so how would somebody, because we're looking at taking charge of your health naturally, so what sort of person would come to you with what issues that they can just relax and allow the gift that you're going to give during that healing? What sort of issues can you say that you've worked with and have had a great result?
Well, sometimes I'm working purely physically, and it may be someone wants alignment on the spine, or there's a joint issue, you know, so we're working quite physically, or maybe there's an organ that's out of balance in the body. And it's retuning. Each part of the body has its own specific note, its natural sound. And when it becomes out of accord, it becomes into discord, then there's health issues. So it's tuning it back in. And the thing is, it stays back in. The majority of cases, people only need one treatment. But then there's people that come to me for spiritual help, you know, so maybe they've got a karmic block or something that they're struggling with. And my students occasionally come up against something that it arises from within to be cleared, and it's huge in their consciousness when they're trying to meditate. So using sound healing can do a great clearing of that. So, I mean, sometimes people just want they want a trauma healed out of the body. So someone's got, say, a great issue from maybe a childhood issue of some sort of abuse or something that they're struggling to get over. Then that trauma can just be lifted with sound out of the body, out of the auric field. It's not just in the physical body, it's in the astral body, it's in the auric field. That can just be lifted out. So sometimes, even if I'm working distantly, sometimes I can be working 6 feet away from the person, from the body. I mean, I can be working way out in the auric field. That's where the block is. So it varies, but there has not been one healing that I've had that people didn't say they felt so much lighter afterwards. There's static debris, mental thinking, sharper mental focus is cleared, and sound just cuts through. There's no psychotherapy needed here. It's just straight to the point, lift it out and get that clarity.
Jenny, it's been so enlightening and inspiring just to listen to you today. And thank you so much for being my guest for the podcast and for the live, which we will be putting on social media very, very soon. So from me and the guests who are going to join us later, thank you so, so very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Take care, and we'll meet again soon.
It's been delightful, Margie, and I'm hoping that, you know, maybe later we'll have another session, because I've got so much more to share.
That's perfect. We'll definitely do that. Thanks, Jenny. Bye for now.
Bye.